already. We got the good sunshine going. These are the days that every time I leave the mountain and it's like, ooh, the sun's just piercing through there. And it's like, ooh, it's going to be a good one. So I always have to drive down my road slow because I look at the fields and I look at the sunshine. There's some beauty about that. So, all right. Well, good morning. Welcome back. Another Motivational Monday. I want to share a rule with you that I live by. And it's simple, it's powerful, and it's really helped me through some of the hardest workouts, some of the biggest business challenges, and some of the most ambitious goals that I've really ever pursued. So this rule I like to call never look up. Now, I don't mean that literally all the time. What I mean is this. Never focus on how far away the goal is. Focus on the next step. Because the moment you become obsessed with the destination, you often lose the ability to execute the process. So let me give you a real world example. So when I run by my house, there is the hill, right? The Lawson Road is super steep. It's about 7% grade, which you say the word 7%, it doesn't seem like much until you're going up it. And every time I run it, I follow the same rule. Never look up. I keep my eyes focused on the ground right in front of me. Now, when I'm running downhill, no problem. But when I turn around and I have to run up that hill, it is so daunting to look up and see how far you have to go. So I only keep my eyes focused on the ground right in front of me. The next few feet, the next few steps. Because the second that I look up, my brain starts talking to me. It starts saying, oh, look how far you still have to go. Oh, this is going to take forever. Oh, you're only halfway there. This is harder than you thought. And immediately the hill becomes heavier, not physically, but mentally. Nothing changed except where my intention went. And that's exactly what happens in life. You set a goal, lose 50 pounds. You start a new business. You want to save money. You want to repair a relationship. You want to get healthier. You want to get stronger. And at first, you're excited. You get that dopamine hit. You're like, yes. But then you look up and you compare to where you are to where you want to be. And suddenly, all you can see is the gap. All you can see is the distance. All you can see is the time, the work, the sacrifice. And the goal starts feeling impossible. So here's the reframe that I want you to remember today. The goal is not your job. The next step is your job. So think about that. The goal is not your responsibility today. The next step is. You do not lose 50 pounds in a day unless you cut off your limbs. You eat one good meal. You don't build a successful business today. You make one important call. You don't become healthy today. You go for one more walk. You don't write a book in a day. You write one page. Success is never achieved in the future. Success is always achieved in the present moment, one step at a time. And the reason so many people get stuck is because they are emotionally living at the finish line. They're constantly measuring how far away they are, how much they haven't accomplished, how much more work remains. And that creates frustration. Frustration creates discouragement. Discouragement creates inaction. And inaction guarantees the goal will never happen. The people who achieve extraordinary things understand something different. They understand that goals are useful for direction, but they are terrible places to live. So let me say that again. Goals are useful for direction, but they are terrible places to live. You glance at the goal, then you come right back to today. You look at the destination, then you focus on the next step, because the only place progress can ever happen is right now. And this applies perfectly to fitness. People get overwhelmed because they're focused on the body they don't have, the weight they haven't lost, the strength they haven't built, the habits they haven't mastered. Instead of asking, how far am I from my goal? Ask, what is the next step? Drink the water, take the walk, get the workout done, eat the protein, go to bed on time. That's it. And it applies to business, it applies to relationships, it applies to parenting, it applies to every meaningful goal in your life. The next step is always manageable. The entire mountain rarely is. So here's something I've noticed. The people who burn out fastest are usually staring at the mountain. The people who endure are focused on the next step. They don't need motivation for the entire journey. They only need enough focus for that day. And then tomorrow they do it again. So here's your challenge for this week. When you feel overwhelmed, when you feel behind, when you feel discouraged, stop looking at the top of the mountain. Start looking at stop looking at how far you still have to go. And just ask yourself one question. What's the next step? Not the next 10 steps, not the next month, not the next year. What's the next step? And then take it. And take the one after that. And before you know it, you'll look around and realize something incredible. You're standing somewhere that once felt impossible. So remember this, the goal is not your job. The next step is your job. Don't stare at the mountain. Don't obsess over the distance. Don't let the size of the dream stop the execution of today. Just never look up. Focus on the next step, and eventually you're going to find yourself standing on top of the hill. So overall, let's have a great week. I could tell by the weather and your energy, it's going to be great today. See you in the gym, see you in the clinic. Keep it going.